Hi, my name is Grace, and this is my presentation for the final build of Ensign Technologies cloud infrastructure. So just like a little rundown, like I said, this is the final presentation for the build we put together for your company, and it covers the following aspects. The aspects you've access to work on, which is the creation and configuration of user and group accounts with security roles, configuration and creation of storage accounts with storage restrictions for users and groups, creation and configuration of virtual machines with access to storage, the creation configuration of virtual networks, and configuration of subnets as well. Building and configuring backup plans and configuration of the Azure Monitor for your system's health monitoring and performance monitoring. So just to dive right in quick, for the creation of the user group accounts, you access to create the 31 user account and 3 groups. And for each group, you access to prepare the group for a kind of a lockdown for the resources you're going to assign so the employees will only have access to the resources that are meant for their group, which we were able to do. So as the CEO, you access to kind of grant you the full administrative role. So you can have control over the resources, the groups, and the users. And because of this, we were able to grant you the global administrator's role. This gives you the power to be able to manage all the resources and groups and users and to have access to all the resources. So just to show you how this is gonna look, these are all the user accounts. And to show you yours for the role that we assigned to you, you have one role assigned. Uh, okay, so the role is loading, but the role that was assigned to you was the global administrator role. And it's gonna appear here soon. Yeah, so you can manage all aspects of this Microsoft Entra ID and the Microsoft service that uses this Entra identities. Yeah. So, and as for the group, we created 3 groups you asked, just like you asked for them. And we added the 10 users to the group, just like you separated in the list that you provided for us. This kind of helps you prepare your users for the restrictions that you want to apply to them. Just like we said, 10 users, if you click on it, it brings out the 10 users. So this is for the first aspect of the build. And then for the second aspect, you talked about you asked us to create storage accounts um, with restrictions for users and groups. And you also stated that you wanted the storage accounts to be able to handle 2 gig virtual machines, meaning that each of the virtual machines, oh, sorry, 2 virtual machines, and each of the virtual machines would be exactly 1 gig per server, which is the virtual machines, making 2 gig in total. So in order for this, for the storage account to be able to handle this, the performance that I listed, I chose a standard performance because this will be able to kind of handle the 2 gig, the 1 gig per server that you want to make it into the. And I also created like a container where the items will be stored, where items that they want to share that only users of that particular group will be able to handle. And I configure it as a private non-anonymous access container to ensure security. For the restriction of the access and a little bit of the lockdown, I granted since the storage accounts are named according to the teams, I granted the groups role-based access, control role assignments to the storage accounts that is meant for them. So users will only be able to see the storage accounts meant for the group that they were assigned to. So just like to show you how that kind of looks like. Um, this is the storage account here. And then so let me go. I want to go into somebody's account to show you that person only has access to, yeah, so this is Alice's account and she's member of the engineering storage group. So she engineering team. So she only has access to the engineering storage account. Okay, one storage account, like you can see. And yeah, this is it right here. So because she's a member of the engineering group, that is why she has access to that aspect. And just to show you that well the rule assignments were placed. So the rules are coming up, they're loading. Yeah, yeah, and so this is the team right here. So that is for that aspect. And then moving on to the next one, which is the creation and configuration of the virtual machines with access to storage. I configured like each of the two virtual machines. I created and configured two virtual machines for one team like you requested, and you wanted them to be like a 2022 Windows Server virtual machines for each of the teams. So the specification used was like a one processor, 3.5 gig RAM, and a 1 gig data disk. Because you said you wanted each of the VMs to have like a 1 disk, 1 gig of to be a 1 gig virtual server. So I did this. And in order to be able to access it, we're going to be using like a private and the public IP address. I'm sorry, the public IP address that is being a default one that has been configured during the process. Later on, we're going to configure like a public IP address of our choosing. So to access it, we're going to use the remote desktop connection app. And in order to lock it down like you requested, just like I did for the storage account, I gave the teams to their respective virtual machines created to them the role-based access control assignments. So the members only have access to the VMs meant for the groups, where the group have access to. And then just to show this, I'm gonna go in here again. So we're gonna go here, and this is the VM. This is VM1. You can see that it is 3.5, like I said. And for the data storage disk, like I mentioned, the 1 gig, it's right here. Yeah, you can see right here, 1 gig. So that is for the storage. And for the access to access the storage, currently now I won't be able to access it because the VM is not on, but I'm gonna show you a demo that I made prior to this. So what I did is I copied the IP address from here, and I went into the remote desktop in my system, and I added it as a new PC. You can see that I already accessed all the PCs before. So this is just like a bit of a demo. Um, you enter the IP address in the PC name area, and then when the user account, you're gonna enter the username and the password that you created when you were creating the PC. And what I used for this was the sales PC2. I pre-saved it in the system so you can see it came out as the same sales PC2. And once you're done and you save that, it's supposed to come on for this aspect. So we're gonna use it while it's on in another explanation for the subnet. When we do the subnet division, you're gonna see when it comes on, but you can see that other ones have come on in the desktop. So moving on. Okay, so we have the configuration of the virtual network and subnet. So I created a virtual network like you requested. And in this virtual network, I created 3 subnets. So you requested that you identified the IP addresses that you wanted for each of the VMs. And you specified the range you wanted. But The slight change is that Microsoft Azure requires the subnet definitions to start on a block boundary, which means that the starting IP address of the subnet must follow a specific pattern based on the size of the sales. I couldn't use the IP address range that you stated, which is the 10.1.1.50 down to like 0.99 because it requires us to start from like the beginning. So that was why. But I was still able to bring out the individual IP address that you requested that each of the system use. And I was able to do that just like you see here and for each of them. So, and you also requested that we configure the DNS, which I have been able to enable, which means that they will be able to communicate with the internet. So I'm going to show you that in I'm going to show you that in a video. And okay, let me show you that in here first. This is the virtual network and this is the subnet. Yes, so this is the subnet. And then to show that they can communicate with, okay, so to show the DNS configuration is enabled, this is it right here. And for the IP address, I'm gonna go to engineering. I'm going to show you the engineering VM1 and 2 is supposed to have an IP address of 10.1.1.100 and 10.1.1.101. So to see the IP address here, you're going to see that it's supposed to come out as, yeah, 10.1.1.1, 101. So that's how that is. So just to show you a demo, because just like I said, the system isn't on right now. So to show you a quick demo of, so I'm going to show you a demo of how it is going. So this is me trying to show that the sales VM1 can access the internet. So we're going to ping Google and you see that it come out as successful. And then after this, we're going to try to ping the second VM, sales VM2 to show that they can communicate because they are the same subnet. Only computers in the same subnet should be able to communicate. And yeah, that is the main idea here. And so I'm trying to ping the second sales VM right now. See that this came out successful. So after this, I had to enable, I'm going to show you where I enable the inbound and outbound rule so that they be able to send echoes and have pings between each other. Now I'm going to try to ping the engineering VM because it's in another subnet. They're not supposed to be able to communicate. Yeah, so I went into the engineering subnet and I tried to ping the sales from there. So you're gonna see me try to ping. Yeah, and you see that it came out as fail because they are not on the same subnet. So that is for that aspect. And just to show you the rules that I set for the network, I use a network security group. So okay, so just moving on to the next aspect, I was able to show all of this. And so moving on to the final aspect of this presentation that has to do with the backup plan and the configuration of the Azure Monitor. Um, I've been able to successfully create the backup plans for each of the VMs like you requested. And I also configured the Azure Monitor for the health and performance monitoring of each of the VMs like you requested as well. So for the backup plans, I created two recovery service vaults, and this is because the VMs were not on in the same region. And once they're not in the same region, they might not be able to use the same recovery service vault. So I had to create two separate reserve and recovery service vaults for the VMs. And I configured them as enabled backups. And I created the backup policy where the VMs will be backed up on a daily. I named it daily backup policy. They'll be backed up daily at 12 a.m. So for the VM monitoring, I enabled the health monitoring, configured the alerts that would show like the CPU percentage, CPU utilization, available memory, and some other important data that are very important for measuring performance for the VMs. So each of the parameters that I mentioned have conditions attached to them. For example, the CPU percentage goes, if the CPU percentage goes above 80 to 70, the alert will be sent to either your email or an action will be taken first. So an action can be taken fast. And I configured the Azure Monitor to provide a very comprehensive detail of the performance of each of the VMs. So just to have like a little idea of what I'm talking about, we're gonna go into SVM. I'm also gonna show a demonstration that I made prior to this presentation that's gonna help you understand more. So the backup is loading up, or better yet, let me allow you to kind of watch the demo. So this is the backup plan here that I created, the backup of one. This is one of the backup plan. And I was able to configure the daily backup plan policy that I enabled is right here. And once you click on it, you'll see the conditions, um, the distance that I mentioned about it being backed up at 12 a.m. Mountain Standard Time every time. It retains instant recovery snapshots for 7 days, which would help, reduce costs instead of doing retaining for about 30 days. And then so when you're going to, I also configured alerts, which I will be showing you in here. So I configured alerts for the backup. The alerts that I mentioned when I was explaining, these are the alerts that have been enabled right here. They've all been enabled. So like the conditions I mentioned, if the percentage CPU goes over 80%, you're going to receive an alert. If the available memory goes less than the amount stated, you're going to receive an alert. And this is going to be showing as part of the matrix for this. So for the well, I also enabled the um, Azure Monitor, and in this place, you're gonna see that the insights have been the insights that I have enabled all the VMs, so we're gonna be receiving um, alerts for all of them. We're going to be able to monitor each of them. And just to kind of check the performance of this PC, it's not currently running now, so you won't find much under it. But while it was running, I made a video of it when it was running, and I'm going to show you how it looks while it was running. Yeah, so we're going to the performance right now. And this is Yeah. So you see that it's showing and you can manage the performance right here. Yeah. This is it why it's being quite active. And I'm going back to show you where I enabled the health monitoring in the system. This is the health monitoring here. Yeah, this is the health monitoring here. Um, this is all for the overall um this is all for the overall presentation. I recommend managing and monitoring your subnet with the cost analysis tools that Azure has to offer because it will help you reduce costs and reduce resource usage and wastage. In conclusion, the presentation gives you like a rundown of your cloud infrastructure that has been built and configured in a way that minimizes costs, provides security and access restrictions. It will also help the business experience more success and growth. And I believe I forgot to mention at the start the groups you wanted me to create were security role have would have a security role, and I was able to configure that, but I guess I forgot to mention. So thank you very much. So this is the end of the presentation, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.